your financial sector. And I think you free say be a problems, akwakusi, but they are not over. And it's say the banking sector crisis, still dragging on because Ghana a financial space, a bit me jina. I must have been human and nema. Nyuma sama ya ka ho asem na asefo no nyina betimi adimu a dudona ejina what is happening away a financial space but it looks as if say we had near my illumina around na in fact hope bia masasabi near my ejina because recently government are making decisions say NIB and ADB bank no either say you be merge the two banks and I say that is what government is proposing at this point in time. At the same time, government and Brobosia say you set up a new bank. That is the Ghana Development Bank. Say we are setting up a Ghana Development Bank at the time. The National Development Bank at the time. A National Investment Bank. I want needs a bank in Minjina. ADB, the purpose for which it was set up, Sabia agri sector and over the years, which has been a major backbone of the economy, a bit mere offer some financial will be assistance to individuals and then as a for over the years in the Mojuma but for the past 5 years, just the financial statement of these banks we show. Some time ago, I told you, Senkai, the Nokrana or the say a banking sector cleanup pan, and yes, a vindictiveness. A government decided to go after some individuals. And I say, a bank, the actual financial statement, then the financial competence. So, and you determine whether the bank should stand or not. Trust me, in bank, it can go Kruma ADB, and your friend saying, National Investment Bank. But the problem, I drag you to a point, government say only no other option. He's not ready to infuse money into the bank, so he will let it go. So, say ADB and the National Investment Bank, go away. The question you should be asking yourselves is Ghanaian-owned banks, all the banks will be foreign-owned banks. Apart from say, cripple all state enterprises. Your friend is saying when it comes to the aviation sector, Ghana Airways first and at least one run for Ghana no a go. And they about drew a pointer. The state-owned banks na Ankasano first tranche in the government the gunina and the last nail to the coffin and the ADB and then if it's a National Investment Bank ye guno and I carbon near for crime so many public babato as part of this whole grand scheme state capture agenda no and one at so when these are some of the issues you be shame free baby problems when you start free and how yen to me yes because don't forget I have told you that when it comes to banking sector crisis and then as a for every country quite recently America they had similar challenge one of the banks I think it's a Republic Bank or whatever yes the declare bankrupt and in the end the whole thing was acquired by another group and trying to infuse some capital into it. When this whole thing started, some of us thought to say and started free, but the government under certain weird circumstances decided say Yungu Bank and the finance acquires consolidate some of the banks. That consolidated bank na ankasa itself and on ankasa kura nyina ye the financial footing quite shaky because yantana say when identify what the real challenges are and approach it in a manner sabi ebetimi offer certain bright future and the institutions of and these own enterprises and state owned banks and as we speak all of them nyina egu so na ne my cultural says or mine economy a bit me largely a bit dependent the activities of these local banks because you see the activities are such that the local economy na say they understand say say omo di sika ma these people omo grants omo ye adwuma na san sika nketenkete na exchange hands na boa ma the local economy ni stability no can be assured and boa ma the economy no grow. So taking away all these banks, I don't know the ordinary person, the ordinary Ghanaian or person starting business, where is the person going to start from? Because as an ordinary woman on the market, you can't just go to this Barclays Bank and never Absa Bank, so Bejisika Kotana Makola Budasu. Or shall Pabwan or Shawatadi or shall cry Nichibio Mudbebuno, Sabi, Bank or how Mahobim. But these banks, a buyer. Just to understand, because they understand the local economy, how and Nema businesses in Nasafo, a tribe in Nasafo, decided to help and assist individuals, local industries in Nasafo. By and we have succeeded in pulling all these banks out of business. So at the end of the day, it is not just the bank. Now I'm Ghana for and you pull them out. That is why I told you, sir, economy is quite stagnant. It is not growing. I see because individual this minor activities okay my economy no grow sankrofo ya stampede because their access to capital anyhow answer na ebesi no microfinances na se for no mo so at the rural area level no so no offer some financial assistance to these individuals no sankrofo no so nyina ya yi omo free business im nti ene all the banks na ejina Ghana has sia edi jumani nyina ya foreign owned banks. At the end of the day, Sikabi Ombenya, whether they get profit, whatever that they get, and at the end of the day, they carry all their monies and they go away. When we don't even have Enshisha, Papaya or Hose, at least we are a foreign company now, Bakruma now be deep. It doesn't matter which sector you find yourself. Profits now in a year, you are supposed to retain a certain percentage of your gains, in this country for quite a long time, because this capital flight taking away all our dollars and then as a economy that is the way you bet me the money flow. But these regulations do not exist. So for them, this whole thing is a safe haven, a platform for them to come make money and take everything away. So at the end of the day, the economy, the kind of growth you expect, you will not find it. And when you now start here, when we realize banking sector our challenge, and I think it has been there for quite a long time, and I try finding a way to address this particular whole problem. But one singular decision by government to tell the banks and say free neko, because we are talking about struggling banks. Banks are, when it comes to say musika na say for because we all saw circumstances that led to the establishment of some of the banks. It be a bank anywhere, then they take the money away, the involvement of whole class of people. You and I, we became quite aware, say yes, banks and our challenges. But so obi set a private banker, what's at the bank in a way, and then the ABM. That is what you need to understand, because the very moment it's open to the public. Now, man, for the Musika Bank, the state has a stake and has interest because NIPA doesn't need the so it is no longer wholly private enterprise. So always and always, the government's duty is to ensure the financial security of those individuals. So activities going on within the bank, government must be interested. So then government decided say banks are among our challenges. Banks are your friends when it comes to Ambasika a year or year Jumano Monsha and as for aside or more your friends saying bank or more statements and as for eba on a yearly basis, non-performing loans and as for a gusun as for a cripple bank not ready. So if government tell these banks yes, you're having challenges, and as an approach I solve a problem, they say free their call in terms of say Sika they recapitalize bank and you move from 120 million to 400 million now. At the end of the day, the whole intent is to crash the bank, because these are banks that are struggling, they don't have cash, and you are telling them say you are moving away from an amount 120 million to 400 million, which is more than 100%. You can say increment. Yamfang and recapitalize the bank. That alone, no, a city or a put all the banks off. Because some of us thought that particular decision was unwise, but now you need say a part of a grand agenda by government to ensure say they take away all these banks from the system, because and the term limit by in the course of it, that is when this whole speculation started. Emma Bank of Ghana, this Addison, a press conference country Ghana for said, the state of the banks now, and banks in Ebrumu Babegu. This is a governor of Bank of Ghana. He understands the impact speculations on the financial sector, especially on the banking sector. When you come out there and you make such statement, definitely you are indirectly asking people to go and pull their money from the bank. So at that point, you a lot of people trooping to the bank, and that particular act, facilitates banks and the distraction and as a phone, because you nipa about 500,000 on daily basis trooping into these local banks, because governor Amoma assurance say bank in Ebimogu nebabegu. That was the beginning of the whole thing, and government took advantage of that particular situation or Mwankasa creating, and they crash all these banks out of the system. Sadia no kosono nipa over 54,000 elusu mojuma. And that is the reality. Nipa over 54,000 elusu mojuma through this banking sector cleanup and as a forum. Emma State, spending over 21 billion. And the government is telling us these banks what challenges, he's unwilling to commit any amount of money to it. Already we committed 21 billion Ghana cedis to say render banks useless, taking people out of business. 21 billion. At the time, the whole recapitalization way, infuse 9 billion into the banks at least. And can nipa 54,000 and cotton of ye. And can man for investment at bank and as a form and conquer. And can banks no sabi on bet major monas, because you see my catch and whenever somebody set up a private bank, Nasa nipa nisika koshohowia, it is no longer wholly private. Government will take, and it's the government's duty to ensure that this bank will stand, thrive, make sure that a man for financial way will be taken care of. And this is government a yes, no, and anka. These mergers and acquisition at that particular point, some of the banks, more financial way is such that sabi intimate survival. Now say obi private sector investment and for some credible entity or more sabi inject into some of these things to ensure say banks will not go off, because once they go off, you are taking people off job. Again, individuals now more that those banks now are more actions and inactions are leading to that tsunami and government could have taken advantage of the situation to investigate and ensure that obi or culpable obi any actions or inactions are leading to that crisis in Libya. Those individuals are punished in such a way say they will not get away with it. But all these things were not done. Government decided to go the easy way, just to flush out these banks from the system. But that is never done anywhere. Now may catch about this financial crisis also in the United States of America 2008. Barack Obama buy now America was coming at the back of a recession. All the major banks and the financial institutions, most of them were in a serious challenge, just like the year woman. The government decided to come up with a rapid financial scheme was set aside money, and this is what they did. They looked out for credible banking organization institutions as more credibility. At the end of the day, everybody can vouch for when it comes to say managing assets and as a forum. So they told them that we have money, just go onto the market. We are giving you money to go and buy all distressed assets. Assets are more very difficult and as well, because nipa na ye adwuma wom infuse capital and manage it well in such a way says sikana ye dem on back the government did so because no nim say nipa sika ene wom America for sika wom America for ye adwuma wom So who folded those banks? And no, the day you are taking people out of business. So government did all it could to ensure said these credible institutions, will be able to stand on their feet and offer some stability. And in the end, it worked. Most JP Morgan Chase, edge some of the banks in Bebre and several other institutions take advantage. And so we'll go into the details. You come to the realization that most of the banks now face those liquidity challenges. Na for those names na well able to stand. I don't know the day a minimum cry profit in us for extra in the subsequent years. And you can Google around them, find the mic, you find a whole lot of the banks and for no or be a juma because challenges the beba, but as intervention buying what the bebano and then the bachelor. But these guys decided to say no, you be good banks, and in doing so, no can no for that no isolate or no ankasa the personal bank your friend is saying or no ankasa the bank sabi or society microphone na do mko your friends finance ministry or in the bank in the film and other local bank bia officer war challenge bia no, they will not give you a breathing space. They will make sure so you go. So they succeeded in killing all these banks. In the end, the consequences and any progress so far as the Ghana economy is concerned, because I know at the local level they grow. But Bank of Ghana and Addison are more leading charge for this whole thing, impacting the consequences now out there. The same people managing Bank of Ghana for the first time. Look at the story. Bank of Ghana in a single year atimia massive debt to a tune of about 60 billion, 62 billion Ghana cedis in a single year, as a bank that is supposed to offer supervisory role, on give you policy direction and as a form or no. I'll go into the 1 year a car wabo 80 meter Ghana half, and it's a room now some of the reasons near my yedisika ekokoye to the stance of one kasa timit na ho etwasika in a year of about 22 billion with that parliamentary approval. Parliament cry nyawe no. Bank of Ghana through Addison, through a call from the president or saying Minister of Finance at who apprenticesika attended this whole thing. Attended the whole institution called Bank of Ghana into a printing press, and they had a printed cash and they had chamaya until recently the story about thing got a buyer. People raised those questions, but they decided, so come on, they never listen to anybody. Now today, Bank of Ghana now onya the infantry to say bank be perform well to ye good those banks, or no, this is in the story and that is the reality. And the banking sector they've been able to recapitalize banks kakana financial stability and so for them. I say banks not performing. It is not true. And ADB agu kura ADB kura de agu National Investment Bank agu, because some of these banks, even some of their financial statement for the past 5 years, they are carried to even bring it out, and they can't because they are not over presenting. That is the state, the kind of jeopardy these people are pushing banks into. And you see, the irony in this whole thing is that banks na struggle to survive. So apart from this, your friends, major component a contributor to this whole thing is the non-performing loans are manfuaje, and Dodona is as a result of government owning contractors who took money from these banks. So if you own ADB and your friend is a National Investment Bank, a tune of about 1.3 billion, now you are not willing to pay as a government because you own them. Contractors and as for Sika, government, you are not paying them. At the end of the day, how do you expect these banks to survive? They can't. So directly or indirectly, banks no any challenges, but their challenges to this level has been aggravated by government inability or decision not to settle those debts. Because once you pay these people, the banks will get their money, they can recapitalize and work. Sa ne to ya banks na ban egu no sa kwabena du for banks ne BoG capital ne some of the banks so we the major component of omowe ya chale sikana no modini nyina ni nyina ya non performing loans sika e dia ma amanfo asabi ne paying back na for na be challenge and do na ya contractors and the kojiji those sikana se omode kwa akoye nwuma ma ban. Some of them they work for government, and because some of them were contracted under the previous administration as a forum, they decided hey yentua we na baba say so pass yentua osika ma wa energy so ko na sabi wo de about 10% na so for koche and sana yedu sika ma. So government is owning these people, these banks, to a team sabi oka enyeye, and as a result of that they are not performing, and the same government is saying okay mo nyeya yeguno enya bro. So when Ghana economy general national blame nobody. That is why I'm telling you, say when uno be kasano catch say Ukraine Russia war, I'm saying that damn the winning pan team, because answer Ukraine Russia war ebebano, not Ghana was already on the downward spiral. Some of us mentioned it, we said it even before COVID, and this thing came in because of the reckless pace. Kendoforia Tane Akufo-Addo decided to say bobosia. Until Ghana are more lucky and out of the credit space, nobody ever envisaged because I feel be able to until the day we went to the capital market and they told us there's a movie you cannot come here and borrow again. So we were sacked. Because Bosiano no do minor bob beyond say yeah Bosiano, na government had nothing. And I feel no best start to pet near America, because when it happens like that, you have too much dollars in the system. And if I'm to walk you through, it started with in 2018, yakwaji 2 billion by 2019, yakwaji 3 billion, 2020, yakwaji 3 billion, 2021, yakwaji 3 billion. COVID-19 in as a 4 period, as a 4. The next year, economic challenge, Jamamufi say, Jimmy Wahon, Obian hold this Kabamau. Because when they look at the credit ratings coming from Moody's, coming from FN, saying S&P, coming from all these credible way, the score no any papa. But can no for over the years, this is what has been doing. So, a bond market is also floating now. The amount of saying, we are. The percentage with which or at which I not sell those coupons are so enticing, so will be able to, because you can as a 4 corner for a floaty bond in as a form at least 1.5%, Japan and as a form be about 2% in as a form by a co nasa also go floaty bond 90 pound or to coupon percent at a percentage rate of about 6.7. Fine and talk. Obia Dimrika better. So when they go there and do all these things number back, then they will be telling you, say, oh, I'm for oversubscribed, there is confidence. Just to convince people, because they know people are very ignorant. Because those percentages, those are the no country will give a coupon at that rate. But we were given a higher, much higher rate. So everybody, when I'm per profit, Obia Baye at the Ubi subscribe to just to ensure say you get what you want. In the end, the consequences will lie ahead, and that's exactly where we are. So the banking sector crisis now, people thought that it's over. No, it's not over. It's not over. We are still in a deep shit. We are still in a deep shit, because as we speak, your local bank Bakwa Aka. The pride your home, ADB, agriculture, and as a form over the years. So, and the bank na I don't nothing. NIB, the National Investment Bank, the same thing. So government has decided say yen kambo mune yen tong, and that is the plan they are doing. That is the plan, because if government is really serious, and kasika they capitalize these banks, not that they don't have it, they have it, but they will not. Until recently, your friends at World Bank approved over $250 million for Ghana, for the establishment of Ghana, your friends at Development Bank. Now bank ne be where creative for. Bank no already me no go form already what the Kenya good banks almost all the local banks in Ghana have many local bank be there apart from Kenoforiata Bank sabi already your friend says already they are buying, he will do everything to preserve his bank. Apart from that bank, mention one local bank a bit. My catcher say, and the bank has been preserved, the dignity and as is intact. The finance are quite so about because we have the cash to infuse and make sure that it's better. But no, today it is the nation Ghana, and you're hurting so much because I don't know which country in the world Sabi, bank or mine and Casa in the bank. It may offer some kind of financial stability. But we are losing everything under these same guys, under these same rascals, to the extent that even the Bank of Ghana, which is our financial sanctuary, and the sanctity must remain undefiled. Bank of Ghana, people can sit there, take laws into their own hands and decide, and after government borrowing the money, no, that sick guy called Addison will sit there and say, we are writing your debt off. In a civilized democratic dispensation like ours, the governor of Bank of Ghana, out of his own powers, can say, really? That is how far Akufo-Addo and his people have brought this country. These are the realities. Writing debt off after printing huge sums of money. The shame to even say, I'm resigning, because this whole protest shouldn't have even happened in the first place. Looking at what the guy has done. My cat was apart from say after say you pay over about 42 billion ama buy money in didn't kwasa 7 no, then they decided say okay, yeah, the amount buying so amount of money or more among them no is somewhere around bare 22 and over billion ubekom no, you say IT ubekom no, yeah, now or they sit there and buy watches, gold watch near chama home. At the time Ghana is struggling, at the time they are telling pensioners, say, oh come on, a mine wire then musika na moda kwakoto moda to treasure bill na say for a bind edensa to so kakra na ye dia danda now because nema nkoye there is the need for us to say yen share burden. Now somebody is using our people's money to buy gold watch our Bank of Ghana chama ye foreign travels and then as a foreign car repairs. Just it's so nasty. It's so, and the sad aspect of it, nobody can do anything. Because the last time when I saw say as a minority MPs protesting and as a for I became so much like really even those who have power to confront the issues in the so-called August House in Parliament, so to me no more no. Are so powerless, they can't use it to do anything because these people are so powerful. Addison, Akufo-Addo, they can just do whatever they and get away with it. So if you're parliamentarians, you can sit in parliament, nobody cares about you. To the extent that they have to go onto the street and demonstrate. Then what happens to the ordinary person? We are living in a democracy where even the powers of parliamentarians have become useless. Because this artisan guy can sit there, print money. He doesn't give a damn about what parliament is or whatever. Or my friend now, or Matt, electoral commission, the same attitude. So to me now, parliamentarians also absolutely nothing. These guys do whatever that they want to do, get away with it. Nothing happens to anybody. In a democracy, in a civilized democratic dispensation like ours, where things are supposed to be done in an orderly manner. So if, yes, Prospero, it's true. So this whole thing, like I keep describing, is a whole cartel, criminal enterprise. They are running a scheme. They have employed a number of strategies. The hoodwink Ghanaians into believing that this whole thing is a democracy, but the reality is that this whole thing is a criminal enterprise. Because if you're a parliamentarian, you can only come on radio and scream, because in a civilized democratic dispensation, parliamentarians, especially at the time or hang parliament, it must be very effective. All these people, all the questions that we are asking will be given to us. And the demonstration you draw, we the ordinary people who are powerless, young me power, because in a civilized democratic dispensation, democracy as a tool is often employed by the powerless group of people. That's you and I, because we don't have those bargaining powers to go and sit in parliament, arguing as before. But those who have the powers to sit there, make sure that people do the right thing, have gotten to a point that those powers seem useless. They scream, they do anything, the institution is not functioning until they have to get onto the street. It tells us we have a problem. It tells us we have a problem. And that is the point we are. And the Bank of Ghana, Okase Papa Kwasindu Bank Yenguno, Way Bank Yenguno, Kwabenedu 4 Bank Yenguno, Beige Capital Yenguno, all these financial institutions, you're scraping them off because they've been largely irresponsible enough. And then the mother bank, called the Bank of Ghana, at this point, times 100 of what these people, and they are putting up a huge edifice at the time, Sabi, Ghana is in crisis. You're putting up bank, building, cost, nobody evaluated anything, or more how the contract was awarded. It's a whole lot of. Parliament is not even aware. They are not even privy to details of this particular thing. So what kind of democracy are we practicing? That is the question you should be asking. What kind of democracy? What kind of democracy? Nobody is holding anybody accountable. Parliament and institution are what trust, hope, and confidence, or they will be safeguarding and ensure we hold these guys accountable. And then Parliament House can no longer contain any argument. We have to do it on the street. Because Abane Denensa Kaka for Numa who said the average and the ordinary Ghanaian politician is so greedy to the stand, just feed them like monkeys. And the time will come, they become lamb. They can't do anything. So today, no serious thing happened in that particular Parliament House. All the issues has to be settled on the street because they don't sit there and do any argument. Because how dare you, Addison, to do this? And nobody is calling him to order. This guy will foolishly, people will come and tell you, or yet subject to parliamentary control. Really? So he does what he wants. He can print money. He can just dash government any money. He was usurping some authority. You don't know, but be also the power free writing off government debt. My apprentice, my economy, they are chow. Really? Is this a democracy? Is this really a democracy? And this guy, a good banks are fan who am I home consequences and from a buffer Ghana who to the stand say, or my dinner way, from and they hear me as here. The only thing that is surviving Ghana at this point in time at that part $600 million now, as part of this IMF agreement as we speak. We are going through the phase 2. Hoping say me pass all the conditionalities, all the distance tax extra your fancy 600 na 1.2 for this year. Your destiny ni or my Ghana ni nyina no, but be a jina no. a kagusu and who go into various institutions as have been some phonies in Huna because send anonymous is a boss. Justify why they spent a whooping over 200 and something million Ghana cedis to iPhone chama workers. Because Omine Obiaya the ope. And they do all these because they know say institutions of state, nobody's holding anybody accountable. Anybody accountable. Parliament as an institution, nothing better is coming out of the place, especially at this time when even the numbers are so tight. Nobody's just nothing. I feel crime say Ghana your democracy is na and various parliaments na this is the most inefficient, the most rubber stamp your saying set of parliament so disappointing, so just because these guys virtually get away with everything. They virtually get away with almost everything. Nothing. And now about your discussion about going to the house where I said be put two brakes on anything. Because this whole Addison case is not something that can settle on the street. This whole Addison thing. This whole Addison thing. But you see, it's the same thing. Because I heard the conduct, the attitude, the posture of the Electoral Commission, so far as this whole registration process is concerned, the way a manner they frame themselves, decided, say, you better register which people you want to register. And when they know very well, say, a man for are ready to be registered. And that somebody has to call them to order, especially the decision say you register among 4 hours. You find the district offices and go grounds and so on. When these institutions started showing these signs, then Parliament as an institution must rise in because you are representing the people and you have the power to question the woman. Say, Adia Wuye, you need to come clean. Because we are with the view, say the majority of the people, but these people will sit aloof, come on radio and scream when they have the power to bring these people before them and ask them questions to justify why some of these decisions. Yes, you can't force them, but the thing is, those decisions must be justified, and you have the power to do so. So if we cannot use these powers, these institutions to do these things, and it becomes like we are all powerless, the best we can do is to sit on radio, various airways, and scream and scream and scream. And when indeed nothing comes out of that, then what is the essence? What then is the essence? So, and you can't describe Ghana, you don't even know what kind of words to, whether we are a democracy, whether we don't even know. Because the whole country is being run at the behest of some individuals. Sabi, what they think is right is what is done. Nothing seems nothing. So as a result of this fact that the center cannot hold, people are just doing anything that they want, reflected and is playing out in all aspects of our national lives. Because what we follow some development going on in the Ghana football. Even the elections now are more corner. The incumbent, nipa na contesting ya fanyansa kwanso ya say ya disqualify So as we speak, the whole Ghana football elections now more corner. One Ketokreku notice when is going unopposed because in the fierce contender at the last minute, you're disqualifying. This is how things are playing out in this particular country. It's really hard, and it's very disappointing, especially when you're a young man. You're just watching from a far distance how things are playing out on the political arena, hoping that at least there are some institutions, there are certain individuals, there are certain agencies and institutions that will make sure that the wrongs of the society near better writing so well to the stance and name nothing. We are hopeful or you'll be disappointed. Because almost all state institutions, almost all, seem to be limping. From the court to wherever to everything seem to be in concert with a particular grand agenda that has been established by some individuals. And it is either you are part of it or just shut up and then sit somewhere. And consistently, drag it or minor, and in the future into a ditch, and we are all quiet following, as if say you lead a cow to a slaughterhouse. We cannot continue to live like this. We cannot, because the cost we chikra back na nipa omusika. A war banks till date or sanka musika we show upon all the public stance and you put it up, and there has been a growth this the economy I say na banking sector na clean up and buy na boa and my economy net me nice banking sector now I find some stability in as a for amidst of all these conversation, there are people who are still being owned. I've been seen there till this restructuring course. And there is nobody to complain to. Nobody.